I'm Rek Kwawer with the North American Students of Cooperation, and we're going to be talking today about building community agreements. What is a community agreement? A community agreement is a set of expectations that participants in a group have of one another. These can be created for the short term, such as a set of rules or agreements for a single meeting. They can also be longer-term agreements for how the co-op or organization would operate, similar to what some people might refer to as policies. Many co-ops and other organizations with a social justice focus are moving away from talking about policies because policies tends to be associated with a hierarchical power or authoritarian power structure. Policies feel like something that is imposed from outside. Community agreements are an alternative that focus on the agreement of the entire community in creating and upholding those standards. Most housing co-ops try to limit hierarchy and prevent concentrations of power. But power, consensus, and hierarchy can mean different things to different people. Most co-ops have a goal of equality among members. However, treating people as equals can mean different things to different people. Building community agreements is a way to establish a set of agreements about how we will treat each other within our co-ops and put some of these assumptions into writing or into verbal form so that everyone is on the same page about how to interact. Co-ops are a kind of structure that allows a diverse group of people to come together to meet shared needs, like having a community and an affordable place to live. A healthy co-op is a place that respects differences and balances the needs of members. Housing co-ops are not just organizations. They are people's homes, and it is important for people to feel safe and comfortable in their homes and to know how to help others feel that way. An activity you can do with your house or with your co-op is to talk about some examples of community agreements in your co-op that are outside of your policies or lease agreement. For example, many co-ops have temporary rules for specific meetings or ongoing standards of how people will interact within the house. Sometimes these are verbal, and sometimes these are written, and sometimes they're not even clearly stated at all. For example, a lot of co-ops have standards or informal agreements around saved meals if somebody can't make it to dinner. Sometimes those agreements involve how long your meal will be held for you. Sometimes they involve how to make sure that a meal is held for you. In all of those cases, there's an agreement about what will happen, but it's not always a policy or a formal rule within the house. Many houses also have agreements beyond for things like quiet hours. Most houses seem to have some sort of a quiet hour policy, but a lot of co-ops also have agreements that govern how everyone will interact outside of those quiet hour times. Community agreements are valuable because members need to work together in co-ops to meet shared needs. Members need to be able to honor differences. We can do this by making agreements with one another about how we will respect each other and uphold the values of our community. We trust our fellow members to live by these agreements or to ask for consent to change them. The agreements that we make together build accountability. We discuss everyone's needs. We build an informed consensus about how to meet those needs and how to treat one another. And these agreements can include how to deal with conflict. For new members, it can be very empowering to be told, this is how things work now, but you can change it. It's also helpful for potential members to see the details of how things work beyond just seeing the formal policies of a co-op, and can make an informed decision about whether the co-op is the right place for them. New members know what's being asked of them when they come in, when they're presented with a set of community agreements. And by joining the co-op, a new member is consenting to those agreements until a new consensus is reached. These agreements are things that can be changed at any time by the consent of the whole co-op, but they're something that govern beyond just the day-to-day policies. They really inform how we interact with each other all the time in our co-ops. We'll be talking more about some samples of community agreements in another presentation. Thank you.